welcome to the round table where I am your host, Jen, and I literally just started thinking I was live and I was not live. So we're going to get right into it. Let me bring up the gentleman. Tattoo Rabbit, House of Tattoos. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good, Jen. I'm
Okay.
just messing with
Oh, man.
you.
You're messing with me.
I'm
I,
just messing with you. I was gonna say I'm gonna act like I'm frozen, but
right, right. You got me.
yeah, I'm good, Jen. I'm good. I'm good.
Cool, cool. Let me bring up
Ready
our
for
next
tonight?
guest. All right. Strange Days. How are you? Good to see you.
Hey Jen, how is it?
It's
Hello,
good.
strange days. How you doing, brother?
Hey House, how are you?
All right. I can see your face. I don't know if you can see me, but I can see you now. Put a face to
I
you now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually watching both of you on my phone right now,
Cool.
because I'm having difficulties on my laptop, but otherwise I can, everything's working out fine.
Okay.
Oh, oh,
That's
Yeah.
all right. Cool. So I'm going to start off just from the top and we're going to go like that. How was your weekend? Did you do
oh.
anything exciting?
Not exciting, but I was busy. Let's put it that way. I was working pretty much both of the days,
Mhm.
and I took a drive, went down, did a little bit of shopping, and
Okay.
I said, you know what, I got to go get a few things, personal things like clothing and stuff like that. So I went down shopping at the Indo and did a few other things, but it's been busy. You know,
Nice.
it's
Okay.
been busy.
That's good.
When you do tattoos, the weekends people are calling you.
Oh, that's your busy time. Yeah, yeah. How about you, Strange Days? How was your weekend, brother?
I was just relaxing, lounging around with the animals on the ranch here. I worked with a gentleman on Thursday last week, and we did some pretty hardcore labor. And he was a 70-year-old guy, and he actually really impressed me. He hired me to work, and
Mhm. Okay. He'll come back on right now. The Wi-Fi's kind of acting up, guys, so bear with us. We'll just keep it moving until he's back on. Yeah, my weekend was like uneventful, just a regular family weekend, and did some cleaning that I needed to do and a bunch of laundry. So,
That's what I did, Jen. Did some laundry, did spend time with my kids and my grandkids.
hmm yeah, that's good. Okay, you're back. You're
Oh, and
back.
G.
G Lou's in the house. Hey, shout out to G Lou.
Lou,
Check his channel out. Yes,
listen to some beat mel. Right.
playing the best oldies. I know.
Oh,
So you were doing some hard work this weekend, huh, Strange Cheese?
yeah, you can hear me now. Everything's fine.
Yeah, we can
yeah.
hear you.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, just so you know, I mean, since I'm on a hotspot, I may bounce back out, but we're gonna give it our best shot over here. Yeah, no, I was just doing some real difficult work with this older gentleman. He was from El Salvador, and he was telling me that his father just moved back over there because it's not as violent anymore. I think we were touching a little bit on that subject a while ago, and yeah.
Okay, right now. Hey, Cubo Denise, how are you, sis?
Hi, Denise. How are you?
Yeah, Denise will be back next week for sure. So be ready, guys. She's taking care of some
Oh,
things. So you know what? Let me just jump right into one of these stories, and then yeah, when Strange Days gets back in the house, we'll go ahead and get everyone's opinion. But first, I wanted to do this and check this out. This is so cool. I wanted to congratulate Alexa Grasso. She got becomes the first Mexican-born American. Alexa, stop. My Alexa's talking. Oh, I'm like, why is, because her name is the same. Okay. First Mexican-born woman UFC champ. So she took the mixed martial artist fighter and she stunned the MMA on Saturday night after beating heavyweight favorite Valentina. And I'm not even going to try to attempt to say this last name, but she's from somewhere in Kyrgyzstan, the woman who she beat. So
oh,
yeah,
wow.
shout out to her.
Yeah,
And
shout out to her. I have a cousin that I never seen, and one of her children is into that stuff. Yeah, she's into MMA and all that other stuff, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't get to watch this, unfortunately. It just didn't work out for me, but that's pretty cool. I thought Gotta give a little shout out. And then there's one more.
Marty Marine.
Ari Marin, welcome. Good to see you. So
That's
also,
brother.
I don't know why I'm barely seeing this one, but a shout out to Katia Escarreta, who is the first Mexican-born woman to go to space. And this happened back this happened actually back in June of 2022. But for some reason, I barely heard about it.
No, I heard about it a while back, and I said, all right, congratulations, the first time, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok just the other day. I was like, that's pretty cool.
You know, it's like we're coming in small little things, but we're making things happen, you know?
Yeah.
And it's got to be that way because we're outnumbered, Jen. I hate to say it, but we're outnumbered. And when you see people make something out of themselves and do things like that, it's a big stepping stone, man. A big step. And the other people, look what you can do, you know?
Definitely something to be proud of. And I think both of these young ladies are in their 20s. So that's pretty big, you know, accomplishment to make. At such a
that age too, yeah.
For sure. Artie, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. So you guys remember that case? I mean, you remember the woman, the ex-cop, or she was a cop. She was fired back in January for having multiple affairs with her coworkers out of Tennessee. I don't know if you remember hearing about that.
I never heard about that. I'm one not to watch too much of the news and stuff like that, but I'll research it and you know.
Okay, so
it's crazy.
Yeah, check it out. There was this girl. Well, she's not a girl. She's a woman, a young woman. She was like 27. Okay, there we go. Jumping right into the ex-cop story.
Right on. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll give this one more try.
Yeah, no problem. So this chick was messing around with several of her coworkers and superiors. I had even read a report, which I can't completely verify, so take it with a grain of salt. But one of the reports even said that this female cop would even message some of the coworkers' wives, trying to coerce them to get into an entanglement, you know? And this all somehow came about and was revealed. So the female cop was fired, of course. And everybody's like, yeah, that's crazy, you know, like five dudes in the department you're busting down for. So got rid of her.
Trying to really get in there good, huh?
Right. And so they fired the guys as well. But now she came forward with an attorney and did an interview the other day. And she's suing the city. And she's saying that her superiors there, who 3 of them are included in the lawsuit as well as the city, groomed her for sex exploitation. That blew my mind. That takes some nerve.
Yeah. If she see, I didn't know the beginning, but what I read today, to me, it seems like she had a valid reason to do it. You know what I'm saying? But what you're telling me right now, what I'm hearing, is she's been doing the coercing and all that other stuff, you know, and so she's trying to play victim right now. Is what I'm reading. I read it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Stranger?
I agree with House. Well, and also too, I think they're all a dirty bunch over there. You know, they got something kind of crazy going on over there. But definitely, I think she's playing that victim card. And honestly, I heard today that I guess her husband's going to stand beside her. And to me, that's pretty crazy. But I think he's just in it for the money because ultimately she'll probably get paid off and maybe they can go enjoy themselves on a big cruise or something. Who knows, you know?
Maybe they can get some marriage counseling.
Yeah, right.
No,
Totally.
It's kind of crazy. I feel like this is why I bring it up. I'm sure this kind of stuff happens all the time. But let me ask you guys this, since I have 2 gentlemen here. Had the shoe been on the other foot, and this was a dude, that was messing with the whole department's females. Do you think he would come forward and sue and say he was being groomed?
I personally don't think he would. You know, no.
I think in this day and age, he'd probably take advantage of that somehow and try to get some money from it. You know,
Got a good point.
that's
Hey, Big D. Yeah, you've got a good
That is
point.
a good point.
Yeah,
But-
anything's possible these days.
You know, it's like when I was reading today, how the girl was saying, oh, she was being a victim by this person, and they led her on to do, and they were grooming her, do all these things, and holding, like they told her about her mental examination, to lie on it, you know, like setting her up right there. What I was reading, you know, like just dropping the line, okay, hook, line, and sinker. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we got her for that, because it's like that movie with Denzel Washington, Training Day.
Mhm.
How he started off just baiting that one guy, the guy that's the other guy, you know,
Mhm.
getting him high and doing all the other stuff because he was going to use them, you know.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke.
So they were baiting her with that. Do you mean the mental exam to get hired or after the fact?
I think it was to get hired. There's a test that they have to take, you know.
And she must have passed it if she got hired.
Well, they told her to lie. I guess she had mental issues, maybe, what I was reading, you know.
Mm.
So they told her to lie on it. So they got that on top of her because they're telling her, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's like this stuff.
Yeah, Denise says
Setting
right
her
now.
up. I felt like it was setting her up. But from what you're telling me about before,
Mhm.
she could be the one that's doing it, you know?
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I think I saw something that said she had like depression and things like that. I don't know what mental disorders, she was
Give me
diagnosed.
1 second, Jen.
Okay,
Give me
go
1
ahead.
second.
I don't know, Strange Days. Do you think having mental disorders is a reason to have relations with 5 coworkers?
Not at all. I think it's just a crutch and an excuse. You know, all you got to do is cry these days and yell and scream, and you seem to get your way. But no, there's no excuse for that, and hopefully the jury can see right through it. You know.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make light of a serious situation, but I feel like I'm seeing more and more of these type of cases. Nowadays, like people taking advantage. And once they get caught up in their own mess, then they want to lash out because they're embarrassed. Right, rightfully so. I'm sure it would be embarrassing. But, it's going to come down to, they'll probably, if they're going to go take it to trial, I'm assuming they might ask that she do some sort of mental evaluation for that as well.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah. We will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was reading today is I think one of the doctors was kind of like saying, that he was like baiting. You know what I'm saying? The way he was thinking, the way the chief was doing,
Mhm. Yeah.
to me, I don't know, man. It's got to work its way out and stuff like that. But to me, when something like that happens, right off the bat, you say no. Period.
Yeah.
No is no. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to dabble in that thing, expect to be used. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what she did.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying she did. She
Mhm.
dabbled, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's that's a dangerous thing. What do they, I mean, that's a crazy term they use. They say don't bleep where you sleep or something like that. They're basically don't mix, pleasure with your business or work. Like that's a bad thing. It never turns out okay.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
Are we going to be announcing any piñatas anytime soon, or are we going to keep that tradition going?
Yeah, we can definitely keep it going. Although I had nobody reach out to me. Do you know of any today?
No. Maybe we could just say it's Rabbit's birthday and we can celebrate his birthday today. What do you think, Rabbit? Celebrate somebody's birthday. You know?
Yeah.
Hey,
If you guys have
cheers.
a birthday coming up, hit any of us up, actually.
Right?
Yeah, and let us know. We'll shout you out. We'll shout you
Right
out.
on.
Hey, strange days. I'm not looking to turn 58 anytime soon. Let me slow down a little bit, okay?
You got it, brother. You got it.
Right?
You know,
We're sorry about that.
that's okay.
This next one, this is like really kind of big in what's going on in the news right now. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it, that there were 4 Americans who were kidnapped when they were crossing the border down by Brownsville. I guess they crossed the border there. The female, and then she had 3 male not accomplices, 3 male friends. They were the victims with her. She was going allegedly for a cosmetic procedure, and just shortly after crossing the border, they were fired at and taken hostage. And unfortunately, it sounds like 2 of their lives were taken and 2 survived. What have you heard about that strange case? I know you had looked at a little bit of that earlier.
You know, I kind of heard the same thing, and hearing that it's mistaken identity, possibly. All the news reports are giving out the same thing. So I think it's going to be a couple of days before we get some more information on that matter.
Yeah.
Unfortunate situation, you know.
Right.
I guess they're telling the American people not to travel to Mexico right now because of this matter. And you know, I mean, if I had money, I'd go over there, no problem. But
really?
yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm a pocho. I don't speak Spanish, so only if I went with the Spanish speaker, because you know, I don't want to
Said
get
it right there, brother. You
I
said
don't
it
want to
right
get
there.
robbed.
Hey, my experiences in Mexico wasn't very fun. I'm telling you.
Oh, I hear you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Because I'm a pocho también, you know, and I understand a little bit, but let me tell you, man, I don't want to spend time in their jail. Definitely.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Hey, they took me for money, but they did, you know.
Wow.
Really?
How long
But,
was that?
but you know, getting back to this story, man, it's like everybody goes over there because surgery is cheaper, you know. But at this point in time,
Right.
like again, Strange Day says it's not time to go to Mexico right now. And when they see those U.S. license plates, that's it, you know.
You're
You're prime
targeted.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I had heard is, they were driving a white minivan and it had North Carolina plates. Although they had crossed the border there at Brownsville, they were from North Carolina. And for whatever reason, this happened. And sadly, this was actually captured on, footage. It was captured on CCTV somehow, and you can see them being sort of dragged into the back of a truck, and it looked like 2 of them were wounded. I also had read that one Mexican citizen was killed at that intersection during whatever this altercation was.
A bystander, right? A bystander,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I heard
Yeah.
about that.
So that's just crazy because I have friends, acquaintances who go for cosmetic procedures, dental work, just to go to a music festival. Maybe not that particular city, but and yeah, I've been invited to go to that last music festival, and that was the one where they had sent out like an alert, like, shelter in place basically when you were down there because something popped up. So I'm like, I don't know, girl. I don't think
Right.
they're right here.
You know, years ago, I went down there and I was going to a music festival, right? And I was driving, we were drinking. I was over there in Mexico, and we get to a point where all these federales, machine guns, and everything were out there, and it says no alcohol beyond this point, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I made a U-turn. That weekend, they shot a federale 100 times. His car riddled it with bullets. Yeah. So I said, you know what? I really don't feel comfortable, and we've been drinking, you know?
Yeah.
I really don't like that. I'll be truthful to you, man. I don't like that.
Really?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Too many bad experiences there, you know?
Well, if you've had personal, bad experiences, I say trust your gut, and that's with anywhere. You never know. Artie, I see this. Shout out to Artie Marin's baby girl, Ariana. She turned 22.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, I'm not
Yes, Ariana.
trying to comment.
His birthday?
That's right. Artie's daughter.
Daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on, Artie, sorry, I cut off a second. Right on, Artie. Happy birthday to your daughter.
Right. That's
Big-
so cool.
Happy birthday.
That's a cool age. My daughter just turned 22 as well on February 7th. So that's a good age.
Man, I have a daughter that's going to be 38 and one that's going to be 27. No, one that's going to be 32.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
damn,
That is,
getting old.
we all are.
That's 12 years old.
How old? Hold on.
12 years old. My dog.
Oh, right on.
I'm sorry.
That's a good- Hold on, it keeps cutting in and out. Let me see.
Keep cutting in and out.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was doing that the other day too. Joker, saludos, Janet.
Saludos, Joker.
Joker. I think Strange is frozen right now. Are you there, brother?
It's like,
Yeah. Drop out and come back in when you get a sec. Okay.
you know what I was thinking about Strange Days, man, how he lives out there with an open area.
Mhm.
He's living a good life. I mean, you know, what makes you happy? Hey, Strange Days, can I ask that?
What's up, brother?
Can I ask you, where you live at? You feel good?
Yes.
You feel happy there? It's a nice place for you? You feel like peace?
Yeah, I mean, my mom, my whole family moved out to Arizona, and my family wants me to, move out there with them, but they don't understand how much work I've done to the property, building up, bringing animals. We're starting to raise my animals. I like the solitude. I'm a single man. I don't have any kids. The ideal thing in the future would to be is obviously to have as a companion, to share with me out here, but it's kind of hard to find a woman that'll come out here and to be out here in the Mojave out here like that. So, but all in all, I love it. I really do. I guess I'm just a loner like that. But I love the solitude. I don't have no problems, nobody to worry about. My dogs let me know when anybody's around, and nobody's really ever around. So I appreciate it.
And yeah, you have peace within you. You know, like everybody's different, you know? You know,
Totally.
what brings peace to one person, I changed my lifestyle and I don't have the desires like I used to have. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I feel at peace, brother. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong.
and I could see that with you, Rabbit. I mean, every time you talk or when you're online, there's a sense of peace with you and some righteousness, and I'd like to get to know you man to man, respectfully.
Hey, we came almost from the same area. You know that, huh? You know,
Right. I mean, I grew up
yeah.
in Santa Fe Springs. Where did you grow up exactly? What town?
Norwalk area. But
Okay.
I have family. Remember I was telling you that live right there, Santa Fe Springs.
Right.
A lot of family.
Right. Yeah, totally, man. That's right next door.
Yeah.
Hey, Sea Dog, how are you?
Hey, Sea Dog, how is it?
Yes, yeah, it's good to see you,
It's
brother.
good, brother. It's good to see dog.
You want to hop on? You're welcome to it, Sea Dog. I have
Get on, Sea Dog.
I'm on at 7, but we'll see.
Get on, Sea Dog. Hop on.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Denise,
I know he's not shy.
Yeah.
I thought Denise was going to join us. That's unfortunate that she wasn't able to.
Yeah, she's taking care of some things, but she knows she got a permanent spot. She'll jump on
Nice.
and she'll be here next week for sure.
Awesome.
So our next topic, guys. This one I'm going to throw to you, Strange Days, because you had seen this and you sort of mentioned in the beginning when we started that I think you said you spoke with someone you worked with that had family from El Salvador.
Yeah. I was working with a gentleman last week. He's a 70-year-old man from El Salvador, and we got to talking a little bit, and he was telling me where he was from, and then he started telling me that his father moved back recently, and that I guess a lot of people from the country moved out long ago, but I guess from civil war, just a lot of violence. But I guess in the last 10 months, there's been a real change where the new government is just taking care of business, taking out all the bad guys supposedly, and so I guess all the locals, the peaceful residents, the civilians, are able to go back and enjoy themselves and take peaceful walks. So I'm hearing a lot of good things coming out for the people over there. So it's kind of a hot topic right now. I see it on the news, and I'm glad for the people. I hope that that it'll continue, and that there'll be no more violence in that manner that used to be there.
That's true, man. I have a son-in-law from Nicaragua, and he says there's so much bad stuff going on over there,
Yeah.
and his family's moving. Some of the family members are coming out here,
Yeah, I have one of my close friends. That's where she's from, Nicaragua. And, she's been here since she was real young, but, she goes back to visit. But she does have to make sure, things are cool in that town she's from before she leaves.
Yeah. I love their food, though. Hey, I love it so far since I tried their food. I love their food.
Is there a certain
Yes,
definitely.
They have these things. They're like a tostada, but they're not a tostada. They call them enchiladas, and they're made. I mean, it's not. You can't eat just one. Let's put it that way. You cannot consume just one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Real delicious.
I have to try.
Hello, Brenda Love. Said mine.
Yes, shout out Brenda Love, channel member. Much love to you. There's also I have another friend. She's from, well, she wasn't born there, but her family's from Honduras. And it was really unfortunate. Like this last year, her grandmother was ill, and they were told she was going to pass. But during that time, there was a certain organization going through the town, and they made it to where people couldn't come into town. So it was sad because her grandmother passed before she could go see her and say her goodbyes.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I've seen the video clips of what's going on in El Salvador, and it looks crazy. Like that looks super like militant, the way they're handling their prisoners.
You wonder if that's even feasible, housing all those people. It's up in the thousands and thousands of men. I mean, you wonder what's going to go on behind closed doors, and there's enough food for these guys. I mean, do you think they're going to treat them right? I think there's going to be a lot of corruption behind it, but I think a lot of the people don't care because they just want to see their streets get cleaned up.
They're probably tired of it. Yeah, I think I had read there's like one toilet available per 80 men.
Yeah, that's absurd.
I can imagine.
Hard times.
Yeah. I think Mexico should start cracking down the same way.
Brother, shout out Cholo.
Take their country back over, because I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of cartel stuff doing some people up. Hey, Cholo Trucker, how you doing, brother?
Cholo Trucker, that's good, brother.
Hey, Trucks, how is it? Good evening, sir. I agree with you, House. I agree with you, House. I mean, the land is upside down. It's been upside down for a minute, and it's sad for the community, for the people, just for the regular civilians. You hear about all the stories.
I know this one guy that lives around the corner from here, and he owned a lot of property. He sold all of his property, and he moved to Mexico, and he's living there real good now. He's retired, he's living real good, and I said, man, this guy has a lot of money. I hope he stays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet. I bet. I know when I was thinking about, like, a lot of people sounded like they were happy, that their country was their president was handling things this way in their country. And I thought that would never fly in the US. I don't feel like it would, to be that harsh, because we have so many organizations and, so many different parties that have something to say. But I also thought, like, that's crazy. It's cool to see that somebody's stepping up in their, their president. But I'm sure he has a major, like, bounty on his head for what's going on as well.
Always, they want to take that person out. They want to put somebody that likes them and can do what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely right. You know, I look at some of the countries now these days, man, and some countries that don't have any crime and stuff like that, they have severe punishment for doing the crime. You know what I'm saying? That's why they don't want to do it, you know?
Yeah, that's
Right.
would be reason enough. I wouldn't want to. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys see what's all going on with all the theft, especially here in California and other other big cities. But it's rampant right now. It's going crazy. All the stuff you see online and see people running out with all kinds of stuff. It's normal for people to steal now. It's way upside down. It's getting crazy, and you would never see that type of punishment like you were just saying, Jen, over here right now, especially under this administration by far. You know.
Yeah. Oh, Vanessa.
Can I bring up something real quick, Jen?
Yeah.
The other day I was watching the tape on the free TV, and the guy was open firing with an AR-15 and shooting at the cops while he was driving.
Oh,
But I don't know if they were taking shots at him from a helicopter, I'm wondering, because some were going through the window.
really? Okay.
Yeah. Does anybody know anything about that tape?
I didn't hear anything about that. Not yet.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. They caught him. He survived. But yeah, I think they were trying to snipe him. He was just shooting. You know?
That's crazy. And they were what? Just driving down the freeway?
No, on streets and freeway.
Oh, okay. That's wild. Yeah, I don't think I have seen that one, but I mean, nothing really. It's hard to be surprised by stuff like that. We see, and as far as like the stealing, how bold people are to just like legit go up in there, bring their bags, and just be raking everything into the bag. You can
Crazy.
see like the employees, they just, I mean, I'm not going to lose my life over that merchandise either, but they're just standing back, you know, like normally recording them or just staying back. But it's wild that they know somebody has their phone out all the time, right? They know they're recorded and they just keep going.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
doing
it's
it in mass.
amazing.
Yeah, they're doing it in big masses, you know, so maybe some might get caught, some might not, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Even if they do get caught, I mean, they let them go, you know?
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Which is true. Yeah.
You know?
Things have changed a lot, you know?
Oh, by far. You know.
Yeah.
I don't see it getting any better no matter who gets in. I think you might see it get better for a time, but I don't think things are going to get much better, honestly, in the future.
Yeah. Hey, Will, I had seen that this comment right here. I had seen I don't know what area of LA it was, but a police officer or sheriff had come on the news and he said something about, he was telling people, don't come here. Like, I cannot guarantee your safety right now. Like, you will probably get robbed. And I was like, damn, that's for, you know what I mean? Their sheriff or whoever he was to just come out and say that.
That was a sheriff from Southern California?
Yeah.
Or from somewhere else? Oh, okay.
In Southern California, yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can't be safe nowhere.
No, you just never know, right?
Hey, that's why, you know, I'm good where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I keep to myself. I don't mess with the cops no more. I don't do any of that other stuff. So I just move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see Nate right there, Gonzalez, and he says he's from Texas. Nate, how's it in Texas? What do you see regarding theft? Is it an issue like it is in California, or are people handling their own in Texas? Can you describe it a little bit, if you would, Nate? When you get a chance.
Matter of fact, just while we're on the topic of Texas, tomorrow I've got an interview dropping with someone that was originally from Texas that did time in the state and feds there, and it's a female, so you guys don't want to miss that one.
Okay.
Here we go. Denise, I put the link, sis, if you want to tap in.
Tap in, Denise. Big D Poker.
Yeah, hello to everybody. Excuse me, that I haven't been able to say hello to. So hello, Vanessa, Big D, Artie, everybody.
Hope you guys
We
are
got
having a good night tonight.
Swab in
Thanks
here.
for
Big D,
joining us.
Joker.
Yes, shout out to all
Got my
of you.
amiga Vanessa.
We
Then my
appreciate you guys.
respect you, Vanessa.
I hear some background noise, you guys. I don't know if somebody has a TV on or another link open.
I'm good right now, I think.
Okay.
Is it gone?
Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, you just have your screen off. I'm like, where's she at?
Oh, my screen's off?
Yeah, we don't see you.
We don't see you, Jen. Where?
Okay.
I mean, Denise. There you are.
Okay.
Oh, what? That's weird.
Yeah, we'll.
Let me tap out and then tap back in because
Okay.
I don't know what.
Do that.
Yeah, the way the world's going right now, best thing to do is just take care of yourself, man, and prepare for things, you know.
Yeah.
and just be very, very observing, not paranoid or nothing, but just always, as long as you stay within your lane and you know what you're doing, man, you'll be all right, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well
the other
said.
big things that are out of our hands, we have no control of, you know. We have no
Right.
control. Don't stress over it.
Yeah. Okay. You there, sis? I see your name. I don't see your
That's so weird. I don't know why it's not letting me jump on.
hmm.
Everything's good on my end.
Yeah. Well, just talk to us.
We can hear you, Denise.
I mean, if I this and then it'll show that little picture.
Yeah, at least we can see your face. Yeah, that's cool.
Man.
I know it's you.
Oh.
I wonder why it's not. Are you on your laptop?
No, I'm on my phone. But,
Maybe just give it a second and let it load, you know?
Yeah. Bear with.
Kind of took time for me earlier.
oh, wait, let me do this. I think my battery's low. Let me plug it in real quick.
Okay.
But I heard you guys talking about Texas, and I was like, oh man, I gotta chime in on that because
Few topics.
Texas can carry over there,
Yeah, the open
Right.
carry.
but their weed is not legal.
It's one or the other, huh?
Yeah, so I'm like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crazy that they could go up, carry and stuff like that, and have no problem with that. But we're not hearing that Texas is a wild West.
Yeah.
You know
what? That's interesting. Not only Texas, but like Atlanta too. Atlanta's like you hear about like gun battles and fights over there down there all the time. But they're another state where, the Mary Jane is not acceptable. So people are still catching, decent sized charges there for that, but they got their weapons, open carry.
Does anybody know if it's legal? Marijuana is illegal in Arizona? Because I remember it wasn't. Is it allowed? Does anybody know?
I believe it's legal now.
It's legal now?
I believe now, both medical and for recreational.
Okay. Okay. So Nate says my county is conservative, so there is crime, but not too bad. But in Houston and other places like that have liberal. Okay. Yeah.
So again, you're hearing in the liberal big cities is where there are issues, and I hear this time and time again. I'm not for sure if that's how it is, but that's what I hear time and time again, all over the news and from other opinions. What are your thoughts?
What do you go ahead, House? While I'm thinking.
No, I agree on that. I agree with what you're saying. I almost dropped something right now. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. To me, I don't pay attention to too much out. I like to see what's just around here. You know what I'm saying? My thing is what I pay attention to is like world news. I like military stuff. So that's what I pay attention to.
Oh, okay.
Well, you and I, House, excuse me, we'll have some bread to break for the next show because there's a whole lot going on, and I have a plethora of information I think you might like, and probably you might have some for me as well.
All right, no doubt. I love watching that. I'm a military fool.
Okay, Will, yeah, you're in Arizona, so you would know, right? It's legal in AZ now. Okay.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
have,
'cause the reason why I asked that, because I had a friend a while back that was driving through there. She got caught with it, you know. So, and this was a while back, so I don't know if it was changed now.
oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. Guns can save innocent lives from predators. Rather, right around, strap them. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, cultura, I am a believer in that same
Hey,
message.
I feel in Texas, if you're strapped and you're carrying, if somebody try to rob anybody, everybody's gonna be pulling out their strap.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
You would think. I mean,
like the
Yeah.
wild, wild west. Yeah.
For sure.
you know, we hear more stuff that's going on in Chicago than we do in Texas.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to hear what happened in Atlanta now that you mentioned it, Jen? I guess it happened on Sunday at a police station.
Hmm.
The group, I don't want to say it here, but it starts with Anti. I guess they were in the streets about 2 years ago, rioting and doing a bunch of things, burning stores down. But it was that group, I think, of about, I don't know, about 40 or 50. They started throwing, it looked like cocktail bombs at the police officers. And I guess the police officers were doing some type of training, and they stormed their little area right there. And the police officers had to actually back up from them because they were outnumbered. And a lot of these people were jailed. And it's just kind of a trip when you see their faces, like you're just like, what, what's going on here? But yeah, no, I guess that group is going to start getting disruptive again. We'll see, unfortunately. Hopefully they don't start burning neighborhoods down and stuff like that, because it ain't worth it, that ain't right,
Yeah.
We don't want that. Yeah. For
Me
sure.
and Sonny were talking about that yesterday. He brought it up yesterday about the training stuff. Crazy.
Yeah. I know that like in, well, for example, in Idaho, they're also an open carry state, and their crime rate is very low. And it was a trip for me the first time I visited there, to literally, like, you walk into the grocery store and people have their piece on their side,
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think
mean-
that if that ever happened here in California, there's too many hotheads right here in California.
right, I
You
know.
know? So I don't
I
think
agree
it's
with you.
common.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know that a lot of people here in California carry, with whether if it's legal or not. I mean, a lot of people. You would be surprised how many more people are carrying these days, especially the youngsters. I mean, I don't know where they're getting them from, but a lot of people are carrying these days. It's just, it's flabbergasting to me,
Yeah. Hey, saludos, Chewy. I just
Wow.
want
Yeah,
to
that's true, Strange Days. I brought that up a while back, because from what I seen before when I was young and how we used to carry to now, they're really carrying it, because they're not putting up the fist no more. They're just bringing out the guns,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out
Good.
to Incredible Javier. Much love to Jen, Strange Days, House,
Peace.
and the chat.
Peace.
Javier.
She's in here too. She's her screen will let her on, but she's in here. Good to see you, Javier. Thank you. There she is.
Denise got a 10. Denise got a 10.
Yes. Also, guys, I know there's some audio issues because I'm getting a lot of feedback. So
It's not for me. I don't have nothing on.
I'm gonna have
Probably-
it figured out by next week.
House keeps breaking up though.
Yeah, it is breaking up some. I don't
Is
know.
it me, Jen?
No.
I'm on a phone.
No,
You
How
just
about now?
it's probably the phone. Maybe we'll have it straightened out by next week. No worries, no worries. Nate says Houston is bad, crime is high. They catch the criminals, the DA will release them. They are very liberal. We will protect ourselves, our property. You don't see open carry very much. Okay, Nate. Yeah, I do have some family that lives in Texas, and I actually have some family that was from that same town where those Americans had crossed through from Brownsville. So I was familiar with that name, and that's crazy. But I think, yeah, it was Houston. Okay, so the girl I did the interview with, that will be out tomorrow. She wasn't from Houston, but that is where she caught her case. So that's where she ended up finding trouble, to get into. So that makes a lot of sense. Chewy.
Joker.
That's incredible, Javier. I can still carry every day, everywhere I go. That's cool. Yeah. There was also, tell me what you guys think about this. This was so wild. So I couldn't sleep last night, had some things I was dealing with, and I was trying to get this interview edited. And I was like, what do you do when you're bored? Some of us go on TikTok and you get caught up and go into the rabbit hole of all these videos. All right. So here I am scrolling through, and there's this video. I like the ones like this, like that are real, although I would never pick up my phone and start recording if this popped off. There's this video, and it shows a window, right? And this guy's recording his window, but there's like white drapes. But someone from the outside is punching through the window. And where's this? And the curtains, have blood all over them. So something's going on. You don't really know what yet. But while all that's happening, the person eventually starts yelling like, "You're at the wrong house. You're at the wrong house." This guy was like ready to take someone out, and he came through. Hold on, let me close this one out, sis, and I'll get you in right here. Where it is. Okay. So he kicked in the front door. There she is, her beautiful sister Denise. Oh, she was there.
There she is.
Hey, I can see you now.
Yeah.
Hey, Denise.
Hello,
Hi,
Denise.
guys.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm
The
good.
guy punching through the window, kicks in the front door, and I don't know, his wife, girlfriend, whatever is behind him and is trying to tell him, she's all in it at first, and then she realizes, wait a minute, I think we're at the wrong house. And you know what? I thought to myself, had that been my house, you wouldn't have had time to explain.
Right.
Like you had already, I mean, God forbid, right? But
Yeah.
it was the wrong house. They had right to be, I'm not saying they had a right for all that to happen, but
Yeah.
somebody had ran their daughter over and then taken off.
Wow.
Oh,
And then somebody on the scene dropped that address and said that's where he lived.
what?
Crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, you gotta,
Wow.
being self-defense and stuff like that, you gotta be careful, Jen. You gotta make sure that they're entering the premises, man. If they're outside and they just happen to turn when you shoot them,
Yeah.
that's it,
Yeah.
it. And
We're talking
that's
about
all it
that.
takes, man.
We were talking about that the other day. It's like,
Yeah.
Even breaking in your house, like if he falls outside,
Yeah,
trips and falls on your hose or whatever, he's gonna turn around and sue you.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you hear about that stuff, and that just blows my mind. But
yeah.
I had a friend that had he lives out in a rural area in a community called the Cern Valley,
Mm.
and there was a gentleman that was trying to break into his house. So when the sheriff came, he asked him, what's the real deal? What can I do? I got to protect my family. Basically said, I'm not telling you this, but if you let us know that if especially it's on your property and you tell us that you were in fear for your life, more than likely it's going to go your way. That's over here in a rural area of San Bernardino where they're a little bit more leaning toward your gun rights. But in a lot of other places, you just still lock you up and throw the key away,
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22, especially in this state. You got to watch what you do,
right?
Yo, catch 22, right? I have a guy that I know. He was a client, right?
Mhm.
He got attacked by this one guy. One guy stabbed him. I mean, this one guy stabbed him in the stomach, right?
Mhm.
He took the knife out and he beat him down. He gave him a beating, and he beat him up so bad, although he was injured, stabbed, that they arrested him, and they gave him 7 years for that.
Yeah.
And he was being the one attacked,
Wow.
but yet he beat that guy up so bad, it was put him in a coma and everything, So
I
he
don't.
became aggressive,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and that happened to my daughter. She I used to tell her, don't fight in school, don't fight, and just let it go. You want to graduate, you know?
Mhm.
And I told her, talk is cheap. Don't say nothing. Well, this
Mhm.
girl came up to her, grabbed her hair, was already dressed for a fight. Then
Mhm.
afterwards, my daughter turned around and beat the crap out of her, you know, kicked her teeth in, everything, right? Well,
Mhm.
they arrested my daughter. Although she was still being attacked, she was
Yeah.
over aggressive. So they
Mhm.
arrested her. You know, that's crazy. You know?
It is, right? That
Yeah.
is
Like
that.
that. At one point where you're going over, where you could have stopped and walked away or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
but
know?
you know what the thing is? Okay, I won't say which daughter. I have four, so, but I have a daughter that went through something similar, and it was a bully that just kept coming at her, kept for months. You know what I mean? And finally, hey, what's good, amiga? May love.
Hey,
Uh,
Nay, how you
Oh,
doing?
they love.
yeah, cultura. I'll get to that question in a second. Um, and finally, like, I mean, everybody has their breaking point, right? My daughter was like, "That's it. You can't take one more shoulder kick, one more, you know what I mean?" And yeah, she whooped that girl
Overbeat
and
her.
broke her nose.
Damn.
You know, they charged my middle school daughter with a felony, and
Oh
she
my
was
goodness.
3 years. No
Damn.
joke. I mean, 3 years. And because she had, thank God, she was just under the age of 15. She
Mm.
fell into this category with a law that I forget what it was called, but if you're not 15 yet, if you're under 15, rather than having the 3 year like probation or suspended sentence, they can make it 1 year if you test clean and everything's right, which it was never an issue of testing clean. It was an issue of she was being bullied and she had enough.
Yeah.
But you know, that's funny because it's not funny, but I can look back now and say, but you know, I went into mom mode. So I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna play victim now? Because her mom was showing up to court with medical records and my daughter, she never snored before this. And oh my daughter, she was I'm like, your
Oh my
daughter
goodness.
was gang banging on Instagram. Stop
Wow.
it.
Yeah. Right.
Don't play with
Yeah.
me. I showed up with screenshots. When it comes to my kids, do not play with me.
Right.
Your daughter is not the victim.
Same
So
here.
and then she tried to say they didn't have insurance, so she wanted me to pay $11,000 so she could pay the hospital back. And I found out not only did she have
Ridiculous.
insurance, she had county insurance, and everything was paid for already.
Man.
So you know,
Just trying
you
to
know,
up on you, man.
it comes back to you. Don't
Yeah.
play with that.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's too happy these days.
Oh
Big
man.
time.
On you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I'm afraid of. Everybody is so willing and eager to sue that I second guess a lot of things. I never
I hear
used
you.
to, but now, hey, being a grown up ain't
There you go.
fun when you know that everybody's willing to sue. Salute, JoJo.
Everything must be questioned these days. That's for sure.
Wow,
No doubt.
that's right. Oh, I said I would come back to that question. You know what, Cultura? I had not heard. I really don't. I'm going to be honest. I really don't like delve into politics too much. So I hadn't heard this proposal.
Whoa. I froze.
But yeah, I hadn't heard about that.
Good Lord. I thought Trump's
But
like,
Proposal to break records.
can you guys read that? I mean, just
You could,
It's broken.
yeah,
I heard
you're talking lately.
it's cutting in and out, guys. It's like every few words. I'm sorry.
I think it's the weather
Something, yeah.
because this has not ever happened to you guys.
No, it hasn't. That's crazy.
What
I
were you
think they're
saying
just making
again?
up rumors about Trump right now, you know? I don't think he's going to do all that
Who's
Yeah.
that? Who's that? Denise?
about Trump.
Oh, okay.
I think if he's does become our president again, he has a lot more things to fix.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll start. I mean, seeing and hearing things now. I don't like. I Denise, I think you and I had both said this. We don't really watch TV like that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll watch YouTube, but I really don't get on like the news networks too much unless I'm researching a story.
You know, I don't trust any politician, man.
Me neither.
That's the truth, man.
Yeah.
Democrat, Republican. And
Yeah.
because when you really look at it, they're set off. And if you really look at the House of Representatives, Congress, and everything, look at the majority. Okay, take a big picture. Look at the majority. You know, and you'll see why I really don't trust. And you know, you got to have somebody that is for the people. You know, regardless of race or anything. You know, and it's got to balance out in there. But if you really look, I mean, on like when I watch some NASA programs and stuff like that, I look at all the hints that's in there.
Yeah.
And you don't see very few Chicanos are in, you know, or Hispanics, whatever you want to call them. Very few. It's either, you know, Asian or Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? And to me, we got to start getting a piece of that pie. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a piece of that pie. You got to get yourself, do something good, man, and make a difference. Because right now we're not getting anywhere, and any politician, Republican or Democrat, is not good for us. You know, they're not. They tell you one thing, they lie. You know what I'm saying? They don't follow through, or they do this. But you know, I was embarrassed of Trump. I have to say that. I was embarrassed.
Yeah. I think a lot of people. I mean, even the people that love him or loved him, maybe he spoke very. I mean, my opinion, he spoke very bluntly. Like the things he would say, sometimes I'd be like, whoa. And that didn't mean that people stopped liking him or whatever, but he just wasn't a politician, right? He was a businessman. So like I said, I don't do politics, but if you guys want to chat about it, it's all good.
One thing's for sure, I can say that he's calmed down quite a bit from last time around with his speaking right now. He's definitely chilled out quite a bit and in regards to how he was last time around. So I think he's trying to connect with the people a little bit more. But personally, I don't think that the powers that be are going to let him back in. That's my personal opinion. I don't think they're going to let him back in.
I have to agree with you too, Days. I agree with
you. You know what, Pupura? I did not hear about this story, but I'm going to look it up now.
Yeah,
Did you guys read that article that in the Bay Area there was two 16-year-old juniors from high school that walked in on a freshman art class and proceed to attack the freshman. The freshman then turns around and sticks both intruders or attackers, and one of them passed.
Dang.
It can happen that fast, you know? Like that's what's crazy is you can be literally in art class, making your own business, and you never really know how things are going to go if somebody comes at you like that. You're going to react sometimes without even fully thinking it through. But I'm sure he went into like fight or flight mode, right?
Well, yeah, to protect themselves from them, you know.
Let me share this story with you real quick. When I used to be a bus driver, right? I had this one kid on my bus in the back. He was from junior high, and he was flipping somebody off out of the back window. So then this car started following us, right? Now it's a felony offense to be following a school bus like that, right? So he was all, I stopped, people stopped, try to come and open the door. And I said, man, you need to step back, right? And I says, man, he goes, this guy's flipping out, blah, blah, blah. Just step back and just, because I'm telling you right now, this continues, the cops will be here and then you're going to get in trouble. So I suggest you leave, right? And so they ended up leaving. So I proceeded on. He was all, yeah, I flipped them off and this and that. So I told him about the story that went around, and the real story where a kid was talking stuff on a bus to another person. Well, this one guy came down and he went up there and he stabbed him. He just spanked him and then took off, you know?
Mhm.
I said, don't think you're safe, bro. You know, if they overpower, then what's gonna happen? You know, or they'll
Mhm.
catch you at your bus stop. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. That's wild. But yeah, like Pulitzer said right now the freshman is being charged with manslaughter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That that sucks. Like,
Yeah, that's sad. But hopefully, you know, hopefully when
mhm.
he goes to court and stuff, things will work out in his favor. I mean, he was being attacked. You know, what else can you do?
Beautiful.
They're gonna bring out the fact that he was holding a knife, but I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, Jen,
Hello, Monica. How
quick
you doing?
question.
Mhm. Yeah.
Quick question, guys. Did you guys see what happened to I guess it was a freshman. I guess he was mentally ill, and actually he was a senior, and I think it was in Florida, and the teacher took away his Nintendo, his little game, and
Yes.
he attacked this girl, and he put her down, and I guess he knocked her out, and I guess he's mentally unstable, but I think he's in jail for $1 million bail now, or
Really.
and so people are kind of like, should he be in jail because he's not stable, or should he be charged? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I did see that. Maybe a little late to the story, but somebody brought it to my attention, and I saw kind of some of the video images, still footage, and he was a big kid, you know.
Big time. He's a big boy.
Yeah. So I can imagine how he really caused some injury. But here's the thing, like I thought about too. I don't want to like place blame, but I had heard he had some sort of special needs, right?
Right.
And that Nintendo happened to be something that the school had approved for him to have as some sort of device to keep him
In check, calm.
like
Yeah.
he was on the spectrum with some form of autism, I think.
Mhm.
So when I'm not his defense attorney, but I'm just saying what I read was when she took that away, it triggered him with whatever disorder he has to react in a violent manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a nephew. I have a nephew with severe autism, and he has to have, you know, something he likes in his hand
Mhm.
at all times. Like, and it's not just like, it's something like my niece will tell him now, you go pick out something, you know, go get your toy, whatnot, and he'll go grab something, and he'll hold on to that all day long. Like that's his thing, right? And when you take that away, if somebody takes it away, he gets unsettled. He's just like not good.
Blows it. Yeah, he blows his top.
You know, so it's not even it's not even our language, you guys. It's like a different type of world when you have an autistic person, you know, to deal with. So if that teacher didn't have any type of education on autism or whatnot, it's pretty sad, you know, but
Mhm.
I agree with that, Denise, because you know what, unless you know about how this person is, you know, maybe she didn't know, you know, but
yeah.
to hold, I don't know, for some reason I'm thinking just to hold him accountable for like that and put him in there, I wouldn't, you know, they need to get him mental health, you know, because putting him in jail like that is gonna cut it. He really did her up though. I seen that. He did her up. He was like beating her and then going again and on top of her and hitting her again while she was knocked out. But his mental stat, you know, this lady should have known.
Yeah.
Right.
Should have been more informed, you know, because
Hello, beautiful sister. How are you, Monica?
You know, back in my days when my girls were in school, I used to tell the teachers, like, you guys need more education. Like, you guys need to be more educated every so often, because you get these kids in here, you know, every 5 years or 3 years, they're different kids. They're not the same as, you know, your typical students. Some may have a little issue or whatnot and whatever, but they need to the teachers need to be re-educated on the kids that they're teaching nowadays. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Can you hear us, Monica?
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
Monica?
Hi. Please. Hi, Jen. Hi,
So
everybody.
good to see you.
Hi. How are
Great
you
to see
guys?
you. Good.
Hi, Monica.
How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I just got off work. I was
Oh.
like, ooh, I gotta get there.
Right on.
Hello, Monica. Nice to meet you. My name's Strange Days.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to do our
That's
introduction.
man of the hour, Strange Days, right there.
Okay.
Thanks, House. Thank you.
All right.
It's, you know what? It's honestly good to put a face to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I never seen you. Now I seen you on I seen your hat or whatever when you feed your chickens and stuff like that. You know, but hey, see you now, man. It's a pleasure meeting
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Time means everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monica, what do you think about that story? You know, did you catch that part we were just talking about with the student who reacted? You know, I guess to sum it up, he had maybe a form, or what do you call it? Like, he's in the spectrum of autism. And he had a little Nintendo Switch that he was allowed to use, maybe through like an IEP.
Oh, you're talking about the one that hit the teacher?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that, you know, obviously we don't want anyone to be harmed, but do you think that by her taking that, maybe it triggered something in his mind and he just
Well, actually, I took the training for autism because I was going to work with autism kids.
Okay.
So I've had some education behind it, because of the direction that I'm going in. So I kind of thought that would like kind of get my feet wet a little bit. So I applied for the job, and it's dealing with autism kids. I had to take a test. I did all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the reality is with them is that they're all different, and they are trying to communicate, but they don't communicate like we communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have to find what works for them. You know, it has a lot to do with, you know, the brain. I'm not a medical doctor or anything like that, and I don't really know too much on why it happens, or you know, why people get autism or are born with autism. But I can say that learning about them, they need a lot of consistency. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't change for them is traumatic.
Yep.
So you can't, it's not like a normal person. And that's the thing, you know, about people who are teachers and people who are, you know, in these type of spheres of influence, they need to be educated and knowing what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, because if she would have known beforehand that he was autistic, she would have probably not reacted in the same way as she reacted as if it were a normal person, or not normal. I shouldn't say that, because they are beautiful people. I love autistic kids. I love kids that are deaf. I adore children, because, you know, I have a passion, and I've been in my church almost 20 years, and I've worked with the youth, and they even asked me to help them with the autistic kids because of the training that I've taken already. So, you know, help them deal with them, because not every kid that comes in is going to be the same. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're going through at home. You don't know their traumas. You don't know a smell could trigger a kid, you know, but that's the thing. You have to be paying attention.
Right.
You know,
and when you say that, sorry to interrupt, when you say that with my nephew, like my niece, man, she's been a single mom to my nephew who has severe autism. She would show him, like, and she still does to this day. He's already 20, but she shows him like what they're gonna do for the weekend. You know, like if it's Universal Studios, or she'll show him pictures. You know, like this is what we're doing, or Knott's Berry Farm, or the zoo, or you know, like she shows him pictures, and he keeps they go over it so that he'll be prepared for when they go. He won't get all like traumatized, because
they don't like the sudden change.
They don't like that. And like I said, if you take his toy away,
them, it's like death. You know, it's like you're taking away what's comfortable, what's familiar to me.
Yeah.
And you know,
that's what happened with that one incident where that boy beat that lady. You know? Because it makes sense, Monica. It makes sense.
Yeah. So he didn't react in violence. He just reacted in a normal way, even though outsiders looking in see it, and I seen it myself, and that it was a violent act. But see, autism, all he wanted was his thing back. That's all he was trying to do. It was innocent to him. You know, like, give me my thing. You took it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all he's looking at. And he wanted it back. That was it. And however he reacted, I mean, I can't really say. I'm not him. I'm, you know, and of course, any person outside looking in said he shouldn't have reacted like that, but they don't know the whole situation. Right. They don't know what he's going through mentally, emotionally, because autism kids, they have a different way of doing things. Like, there's a lot of stories that I heard when I was taking this class, and they tell you like scenarios, and, you know, so what I would have had to have done was go to their house and sit with an autistic kid, and they give you a like a little computer, and you gotta follow the steps every day. Tie your shoe. Today we're gonna tie your shoe, and then you have to teach them commands, and you know, you gotta say, if they're doing something wrong, you gotta say no, you know, and then and people get frustrated with them because they don't know. So until you teach them, then they start to understand. But to teach an autistic kid takes weeks and months to teach them one thing. So you have to have patience. Yep. You know, you got to say, no, that's not acceptable. And then they'll go, and they'll get all mad. And then they'll try to do it again. And then you tell them, no, that's not acceptable. Right. No, that's not acceptable. And you have to keep. So the next time you come back next week, and then you've got to do it again. And then that's how you grade them, you know. And then so next week, and you gotta wait to see, like, some kids, it'll take 3 weeks to get it, and it's only getting one thing. It's not like telling them and they're comprehending. They're not. So it's learning for them. It's a way to, you know, it's just having compassion and patience, because they don't think like us.
And, you know, it's sad that the teachers, they're so bombarded with you know, and I think my niece had only 10 kids in her class, in my nephew's class, but there's a lot of autistic kids that are coming up, more than, like Bud had saying, more than before. Yeah. You know, you're seeing a lot more kids.
And what it is too is the parents are not aware that some of the kids are autistic.
Oh yeah, they don't see it till they're like 4 years old.
Sometimes they're autistic, and they and you know, and it's not to discriminate or to, you know, judge the parents. It's just they don't know, you know, or
I mean, they don't see it till they start to
have medical. They don't have money. They don't have, you know what I'm saying? Not all of us are fortunate in that way. We can't judge them because of the situation they're in, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, that's why we're to educate one another. Like, if I see a mom and I notice that he's autistic, I'll even and I'm pretty bold, you know what I'm saying? And it's not out of disrespect. It's out of trying to educate. And, you know, there's times where I would see situations, or like at my church or whatever, and I see an autistic kid, but you can't tell that he's autistic unless you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Monica?
Yeah.
Is there different types of autism? Like,
absolutely.
Is it? Yeah.
You got some that are artistic, and it's on levels. You know what I'm saying? There's some severe, there's some like, they're, you know, or there's some that, some just has a speech problem, you know what I'm saying?
And then you got the Down syndrome. You could totally tell
the Down syndrome. There you go. Yeah. Each kid is totally different. You cannot use the same technique and the same scenario to address an autistic kid just because they're autistic.
You got to be within their circle and know them for a long time.
You have to know what they're dealing with. You have to. It's like tailor made. You know, like we're all tailor made. We're all not. None of us are alike. Right. And we're multifaceted. Like a diamond has different colors and many. When you turn a diamond, you see it's a diamond, but facet is different. Yeah. Right. So God created us. We're all unique. We're all multifaceted. And so in order for us to really be an impact in anybody's life, we have to get to know them personally. We can't put labels on people.
Right. Right. Let me get to a couple of these questions. That's good. Why do you think?
Right there, Monica.
Yeah. Why? Okay. Here's a question right here. Why are kids autistic to begin with, though? Autism wasn't as common 100 years ago.
Great question.
Yeah.
Not even 25 years ago, but
Yeah. I personally, I don't know. I mean,
Maybe because our studies weren't there and it was there all the time. Because when did they come out with bipolar people,
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
look at so who knows? It could have been there all the time and people just didn't recognize certain things.
I can remember, I can remember some kids I went to school with, and looking back, there was never like someone that said, oh, they have this or that, it just went sort of brushed under the rug, get through the day of school. But looking back, obviously I'm not a doctor, but I wonder sometimes, if they went undiagnosed and they could have received the help they needed.
back in
I
my
think it has a lot to
days,
do
they
with our
had,
food.
yeah,
Yeah.
too. I heard that too. Straight.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah, that's true there. Days.
Yeah.
Back in my elementary days, they had a separate class for kids like that, and there wasn't too many, But all this bipolar stuff and all that other stuff, I haven't heard till lately. Mental illness, it's gotten up, it gone up.
And that
Oh,
plays
and you know what? When this is just passed a law not too long ago that remember that the hospitals used to keep like mental illness patients, they would keep them for evaluation and all that. Now they can't. If they say they want to leave, they have to let them go.
Really?
Yeah, they do still have the 5150 units in the hospital where I'm at. They still have that unit for them as well. But if they say they don't want to be tested and they don't want none of that, they have to let them go.
Really? Okay.
So
Hey, that's a good question that Tolo has right there. Should mental illness use crime or be treated differently? What do you think about that, Strange Days?
That's a good question. I don't think it could be treated the same, but it just there has to be a lot of thought put into that. I mean, that's kind of a tough question, but it can't allow people to get away with murder, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for people that are like that committed crimes.
well, they're put in. They're not put in general population. They're put in. They're put in. What is it? Why?
Well, like the medical facilities, a lot of them are there.
A lot of them are put into like that. What is it? White TC or something? What?
Strange Days. Do you remember that place? Do you remember that place in Norwalk? The Metropolitan. I think is that it?
Yeah, the metro right there off of in Norwalk Boulevard, right?
Yeah. Wasn't that
between
for people
Norwalk
like
and
that?
Shoemaker?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that place is open anymore.
No, it's gone now. From what I was told.
It's gone? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we used to ditch school and go smoke pot on our lunch break in there from Santa Fe High School when we were kids. But that place was pretty crazy. We used to freak out when we were there.
Going back to the mental illness.
Monica Freezer, is she there?
Yeah, she's there.
Here.
Yeah. Going back to the mental illness topic, I think that what I have noticed in people that I've talked to anyways, and I have one cousin that it's not really part of my life, but I remember some of his situations. And as bad off as I thought he was with his mental illness, honestly, like he would always be held to the same standard. It was almost impossible. What I remember his attorney saying once, it's almost impossible to plead insanity unless you're just completely insane. Like if your cousin doesn't, he would tell me, if your cousin chooses not to take his meds, then that's his fault.
Yeah.
Because a lot of mental illness, a lot of people will, they think, okay, I feel better now. I'm not going to take my meds. Or they feel like, okay, these medications are dimming my light or making me feel like a zombie, not myself. So they stop taking them, and then they have, an episode that could possibly lead to something really bad.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Jen. I've experienced that, and I've seen stuff like that. I'd rather have them on their medicine rather than you know, because when somebody gets violent, because
Mhm.
they're often, it's not a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
They'll be held accountable
Yeah.
some way.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think.
speaking from, sorry to cut you off, but speaking from experience, I have a brother that's bipolar and he has a couple of other mental issues going on. And honestly, I haven't had a brother in about 8 years. I haven't spoken to him in about, I would say, 7 years. And it all has to do with his bipolar and his mental issues. And every time he sees me, he wants to physically put hands on me. And there really is no reason for it. It's just the mental illness thing going on. And it actually has broken my family up. And, it's really sad to see, I know a lot. I know a lot of families have been through that.
Yeah.
And my heart goes out to those people,
Yeah.
I think everybody in their family has a member like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dee Dee. Shout out to you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Didi.
I love you.
Right on, Didi.
Let's see.
There's just so much. There's so many mental illness out there, and it's become a epidemic out right out in if you guys go to anywhere out here, it's out LA, downtown LA. There's so much going on down there, and there's so much to it. I mean, I can go on and on about using fentanyl, and the word on the street about that is that you take one hit and you're crazy, and you lose it and you don't come back from that. So if you guys can imagine that, where it's a pandemic going around using that type of drug, it's just it's really scary,
Yeah.
Hey, I am so glad and thankful that back in the days that they never had drugs like that for me.
That was LSD.
That's 100% right there.
The worst was LSD, right? Back in the 70s.
Right? Mushrooms, LSD,
But now
or
it's
PCP.
it's that crazy drug, and sadly, I had my niece is 15 and she OD'd like 3 times on that drug. And how she got it, I mean, who knows? She don't say, but it's sad to even think of what could happen next.
Where does anybody know where this fentanyl came from? Who made it? Pharmacist, or is it?
It was made in Mexico. I think it was made in Mexico, is what I think. But you know what? There's a lot to. Stuff was just dropped, and
honestly, on my take on mental illness, I'm a product of mental illness. I was schizophrenic, bipolar. I have PTSD. But my take is it's a different approach. And it's crazy because personally, what I want to know with people like when it happens is, where did it start? Because there's a starting point to that. They just weren't. And don't get me wrong, this is not, like I said, we're all unique, but the way that I dealt with it was, I met God.
Yeah.
God delivered me. I didn't need medication. I didn't need none of that. I had faith to believe that he could heal me. And so I've been healed from that. Yeah. And so so this is this is like my heart right here. Mental illness, that's what I'm called. That is my purpose, is to go back and to help others to understand why, and to give them a solution. It might not be for everybody, and this is not, I'm not trying to convert you or to, what I'm saying, to make you feel like, this is my life. I'm talking about me. And so it's funny because I was this close from going to the other side and not coming back. Those people that talk to themselves out there?
Yeah.
They just slipped away, and there's still hope for them. And that is my journey. That is my desire, is to say, hey, if God could do it for me, he could do it for you. And so it's funny because I was at Walmart the other day and I seen this guy was outside. He was, the ones that they're talking and they're having a full blown conversation with themselves. And the guy, but what really, and I was telling my husband, and I came home and I literally just wept because I remember being in that state of mind. And so I saw this guy, but what really caught me off guard was that he had such a vocabulary. He sounded educated. He sounded like he could have been a professor or something. Like, and usually people put labels on people, right? I don't label people. I don't care if they're eating dirt or, you know what I'm saying? I never judge because trust me, I'm no one to judge. But at the same time, I saw him and I kind of pondered and the first thing that came to my head was, where did it start? Something traumatic must have happened. You know what I'm saying? Where it took a turn, and that's just it. It could be trauma, because for me it was trauma, and so it could be a lot of things that we don't know, and the thing that I don't like to do is put blame. We don't want to put blame. We want to look for the solution. And for me, prayer for me is the solution. I don't know this guy, but I will continue to pray for him because I like to get to the root of the issue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In these kind of situations. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard when you don't understand. And a lot of times because we don't have an understanding, we don't want to deal with it. And because I do have that understanding, living that life, getting delivered from that life, knowing what it's like to be tormented, knowing what it's like to hear voices in my head, knowing what it's like to have fear, knowing what it's like to, people for so long, no one looked me in the eye. Imagine being looked down on all the time. That in itself will take you to a mental illness state. Because we're human beings, we're supposed to be nurtured and loved, paid attention to, and noticed, and to be acknowledged. And because they are the way they are, most people just don't even acknowledge them at all.
Yeah.
And so, and even if, and that's just my heart. I don't want to get any deeper into that, but I believe my faith, my heart, I believe it doesn't matter how far. This is my saying, okay? As long as they have breath, there's still hope for them.
Right.
The ones that people think can never change, I'm that one to believe they can. Because I was that one. I was the hopeless one. I was the one that everybody gave up on. I was the one. And so that is my passion. And it's those, that's someone's mom, someone's aunt, someone's mother, someone's daughter. Like, I mean, could you imagine if that was your kid?
Yeah.
Monica, I want to thank you for sharing your story with me, because I'm encountering that with one of my family members, and like you said, I couldn't understand it, and he's smart. I mean, he speaks intelligently and everything, and he was always active. Then one day it lit, and now it's the total opposite. He won't be the same. He's got to be on medicine.
Right.
But I want to thank you for sharing that with me, because it's good to know, and I've been talking to people about it, because it's something that people that experience it, like, I'm not afraid to say it or talk about it, but I want to thank you for sharing this with me, because it really
it's a blessing to hear, you speak openly on it.
And you know what, Monica, I don't look at you any different, man. You're a sister in Christ, and I love you for that.
Yeah.
You're a big D. You're a big D. 100%.
Thank you.
I heard Monica. Me and Monica had talked before, and I've heard.
Oh my God, girl!
And I
Denise was like, "They ready for you, Moni? They
girl." But, I can relate, because I'm telling you, like, I was dealing with but I was doing PCP, and I was doing speed too, but I would get anxiety attacks real bad. Like, I didn't know what they were. God delivered me from that, taking pills, and I did not want to take pills. Those pills did make you feel like a zombie. They just, like, were way out. I did try them to help, but But finding my help was like, nah, man, this God needs to intervene in my life, and He needs to help me with this, because this is the only way I'm going to get better. You know, and I prayed that away. I prayed it away, and he took that anxiety away from me. And
It says that in the Bible. God, Jesus says heal the sick-minded, you know, and the leprosy and all that other stuff. Jesus has done that. So you have to have that
my
faith.
heart does go out to those mentally ill people. When I see them and stuff, I don't approach them because I don't know. You know,
well, you got to use wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just. And it's funny because it was funny because one day there was this guy outside of McDonald's, right? And Big D was with me. And Big D, he has a big heart for people like that too. You know what I'm saying? In the state of mind that they're in. And he got out of the car, right? And this is a thing. Because in the Lord, we have authority. You know what I'm saying? Because of who he is. And so we can't allow these things that are tormenting and doing the things that they're doing and ravishing the people. You know, so we have to come, but you come in love. You don't come and, you know, it's not the world authority. It's not the ego. It's not the pride authority. It's not that type of authority. It's a humbleness in knowing that, you know, God has full authority, but at the same time, these people need love. You know what I'm saying? And so it was funny because and to watch it all happen, you know, you have to have a discernment, right? God will give you a discernment and how to move and maneuver and what to say, what not to say, because the reality is we don't know what to say. We don't know how to help them, but God knows. So if you open your ears to hear what he has to say as you're being guided. So the thing is, Big D came and he went up to this guy, and this guy was having, like, you know, conversations. You know, they talk and I don't know what they're saying and just doing some crazy things. And then so he goes up to him and he's like, he started talking to him. But the funny thing is, as soon as Big D started talking to him, he was normal. Because they know who you are when you come and the authority and who you're coming in, whose authority. So he was like normal. And then it was funny because Big D was just talking to him. He was saying, you know what? Hey, man, what's your family, man? What's your name? Like, are you hungry? You know, like, hey, how can I help you out? Do you need, you know, like, is there anywhere we can help you? Do you need a place to stay? Do you got some, you know, he's just dialoguing with him. He's dialoguing with his human side.
Yeah.
You got to forget about that. You got to acknowledge that. And he was like in awe because most people just pass on by. And I'm not saying we stop and say that to every person, but it's just when the time is right, when the leading of the Lord is there, you have to submit and put your time aside to deal with that, because God is healing for them. And so when he started talking, and then the guy, and after it was all over, I told Big D, I go, did you see that? I go, did you see that? How whatever is tormenting him and whatever he's dealing with had to acknowledge the true authority.
Right.
He was able to be that normal person.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we left, he went back. And of course the spirits come back, and he went back and he was like, and then, you know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, because it says in the Bible that we have the keys to set the captive free. We have them in our hands, but we don't realize how to use it.
Yeah.
You know, like you see your homie, you know, he's let's say he's in jail, and you have the keys, and you're just going like this to him.
Right.
You don't let him out. Let him out. Let him out. Oh, open the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just leave him there. And that's the thing. We have to have that boldness. And because, and I know because of my testimony, not everybody's, you know, God calls us to different spheres. You know, there's the 7 mountains. You got the 7 mountains. So you got the work field, you got the church, you got, you know, everybody's called into a different sphere. It could be at your job, and it doesn't have to be. I'm not talking about religion, because I'm not a religious person. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm talking about just having compassion, you know, and just having a heart and being there when you need someone. You know, that's all.
Hey, what that does, it makes the world go around, you know, and it makes this society a lot better place. And people come together, like, you know, because the other way, when people do the other things, it doesn't go, you know. But understanding, have compassion, and tell somebody I love you, or help somebody out like that, It's a big step in the right way, you know. And when somebody's listening to you talk right now and picking up this, and if they go and apply this outside, it's a blessing, you know. Drop a seed, plant a seed, let it grow, let it go, you know. And that's a blessing. Good.
Yeah.
I have
That's
these two girls. Sorry, I have these two girls. They're my friend. Okay, so I go to work and I have a friend, my manager, right? And she has a sister, and then she's bringing me all these youth. She's like, and I'm like, okay, because at one point in my life, to answer the call, it's a sacrifice. And so I was not ready. I was like, oh, I don't want to do all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the battle, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going into territory. It's like you're in a gang and you're going into the territory and you're trying to fight for territory. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of warfare. It's a lot of things you got to deal with. And you know what I'm saying? So at one point I was like, I had the heart to do it, but the Bible says that the greatest love is to lie down your life for a friend. That means I gotta lie down the things that I love to do to help someone else out, and that's what Jesus did for us. And so we have to emulate that. You know what I'm saying? With his help, of course. But anyways, what I was trying to say was that it's coming. Like it's the youth. The youth right now are struggling. There's a lot of suicidal thoughts. She was telling me, she's like, hey, she because that's what I'm going to school for, and I'm gonna open out anger management, all this stuff, whatever. That's just natural stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's just a door. So when the people do come, I could deal with the underlying stuff. I could deal with the rooted stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's in quietness, because God is not he's not gonna put you to shame, And so it's like I see it, I know it, I see, it's like when you grow up in the neighborhood, whatever, it's like how to keep your, you know what I'm saying, but what you got to do, you know what I'm saying, kind of deal. It's the same thing, that's whatever I learned in the world, that's how I use it in the things of God. You know what I'm saying? I learn, I'm like, okay, I see you. And it's like, when you're after school, sometimes crazy is like when I was growing up in high school, whatever, and after school, and you're gonna fight, you're like, I'm gonna get you after school, me and you. You know and that was the fun, right? When you look at somebody, you're like, me and you. And they're like, oh, shit, it's going down. If anybody else saw it, they knew it was going down, but nobody said anything. It wasn't a big spectacle. You just followed the crowd. Everybody's going around the corner. There you go. You're like, yeah, there's going to be a fight. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing. And that's how I am. Like, I see it or whatever. I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, he has a demon or whatever. I'm just going to be like, and I look, and it's in the eyes. And you look at people, see if you have that discernment, and I'm looking at them like, yeah, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah,
the Holy Spirit gives you the power of discernment.
I just tell my brother, I can't leave him in that state. I can't leave him in that state. You know what I'm saying? It's like reaching down into the pit and pulling them out. Because if God pulled you out, you're responsible now to help others pull them out.
Yeah,
definitely. You have a mission now. I love that, Monica, and that's why, like, a lot of times, okay, there is a lot of people in my city too that are struggling, right? And it breaks my heart. And that's why, like, no shade to anybody that does this. I don't know, maybe other channels I've heard people do this, but I don't feel like it's cool to walk up on someone that's struggling, with their mental health or addiction, homelessness, and put a camera in their face and make jokes and get views. And that's something I will never do. And people have said, oh, you should go, film down there. No, that's not funny. That's somebody's son and daughter.
Right.
What does it say about that in the Bible, Monica? That we're gonna get off on other people's what is it called?
That scripture, yeah.
I forgot what scripture that is, but yeah, we're gonna get entertained on other people's downfalls. Yeah, that's what the world is coming down to. And that's a sad thing,
you know what I learned, like being changed now, like close to Christ, is my life changed, but for God's purpose, for God's will. So, like one incident happened when I was out there, and do not let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. I'm not doing any of that here. It's just testimony. What we should do as people, and I was pulling up, passing out lunches to people. You know? I was approaching this one area. I'm pulling into this driveway. And there was a police right there, and there was a lady, homeless, on the floor like this, sitting down, hungry. And there was another one on the other side. Well, he was trying to bounce him out of there, getting a little rough, right? Well, as soon as I pulled up, and then the police officer came up to me, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, I got lunch for these ladies right here. I'm doing God's work here. So can you please give it to them?" He looked at me like, okay. That little thing that I did right there, instead of kicking them out, he let them eat their lunch. Took off. But before he would get harassed, make the opposite direction, you know?
Yeah.
He let go. He just kind of, I seen that change in him. And he's just kind of like humbled because he's like, you take a look at me and then I'm pulling up right next to you and say, "Hey, I'm doing God's work. I want to give the people." And he didn't come out. They still stood. Because right now, what's happening in the United States, all this illness, homelessness, stuff like that, it's a serious thing going on right now. People need help. You try to help any way you can, even when you're broke. You know, God will use you. He'll pull you
Man, yeah.
to this, and He's using you, Monica, and it's a blessing. Because what you shared with me today, I needed to hear that.
Yeah, he blessed a lot of people with that right now. He really did.
You know, everything's significant, you know, everything's significant. But like when Jesus was healed this one man, he asked them, and this is the part, you know, you can't force people. You gotta want it, you know. And he told him, "Are you willing?" And that's because we have a free will. We're not going to be forced to do nothing we don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and we have a free will, and sometimes, you know, people that don't want to change, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that you don't have to stop praying for them. You know, you love them where they're at, because you never know. As long as they have breath and they're breathing, God is the only person who could change a man's heart.
Right.
We can't coerce someone. We can't manipulate them. We can't con them. We can't do none of that. None of that. I had to be willing. I had to surrender and say, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm not going to do it my way no more, Lord. I'm going to let you do it your way." You know? And even and don't get too, you know, because pride comes before a fall. Don't get too haughty. Don't, watch, look at them, and I'm good, and I'm changed. How come they can't change? Oh, they got a job. Oh my God, that's why they're homeless. They need to get a job. And, you know, I hear that so many times. But the reality is, you're supposed to look at yourself first.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do self-evaluation every single day. And if you miss the mark, then you try to hit it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And that's what grace is for, because we're not perfect.
Amen. I've been living this life with the Lord for 25 years, and you know what? I don't judge nobody. And me and Big D have to have this discussion, because like when I forgot the guy's name, when he went to Skid Row and he was talking to all those people and we were on his chat and stuff. I forgot that guy's name. Vince.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was like looking at it and I was like, man, and I told your husband, I said, there's so many different people that are homeless. It's not because of it's because of drugs. It's because something happened in their job, or you know, there's so many different levels of homeless people. You can't just focus and say, oh, they're homeless because they're on drugs. Like, what? You hear that a lot, and that's not
true.
That's not true.
Right.
Like, there's so many people out there that, you know, that are just, you know, I don't know, just dealt the wrong card, or just
hurting. Yeah.
You know,
I want to answer that Themo. He says, I studied it. I was determined to help my mijo. It was scary at first, but religion, a lot of kids ain't with the religion. And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're not with the religion. I'm not with religion. You know what I'm saying? I hate religion. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, you don't have to say anything. your actions will speak for itself.
Yep.
If you show love and compassion, that's what's going to help them.
Yeah.
And you never even have to mention God. You never even have to mention religion. You never even have to mention anyone. The way they're going to know you and know God is by your love. It says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you never have to mention that to a teenager. What you could do is listen, show love, take them out, invite them somewhere, and then they're going to notice your character. And then there will be an opportunity for you to share if they're open. You don't just shove it down their throat and be like, "Oh, you need God and you need to get saved." That's self-righteousness.
Yeah.
You can lead a horse
by example.
water,
Never
can't make him drink.
part of any of this.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's where it comes from.
Right.
That's who for me, I'm going to speak for myself because I don't want to offend nobody, and sometimes I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. The Bible's either going to offend you or it's going to deliver you. It's going to do one or two things, and only you can choose which one's going to happen. If you're offended, that's between you and God. That's not between me. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe in God and you're an atheist, that's your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to tell you what to do, what to believe in, who to believe in, what not to believe in. I could tell you what I believe in and what I say and know that's truth. But that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's always a personal thing. It's never about I'm right and you're wrong. Because we're already starting off on the wrong foot. Because that's the vision.
Yes.
All said. Hey, I want to get back to that question. The thing that Cholo Trucker said. He made me laugh right there.
What?
Let me find it. Hold on. I know. I was trying to. Monica was like,
I was cracking up.
Like she was.
I seen you laugh, man. That made me laugh. I didn't want to laugh at Monica because Monica's doing this, but
No,
I wanted to laugh about that. Yeah. Three ladies in a dinosaur show.
What does that mean?
Hey, but we did get rid of the dictator. Jen's not a dictator.
Oh.
She lets people speak. So we did get rid of the dictator.
Who's the dictator?
Gracias, Cholo.
Cholo. I was gonna say, Cholo Trucker, you're tough. You're tough. Hey, that's who you are, and I respect that.
It's good to be tough.
Yeah. Hey, come over. Hey, come over, Cholo Trucker, and I'll change your diaper.
I wouldn't want to my judge. Cholo Trucker, I wouldn't want to sing and you be my judge. Curtains for me. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I just messing with you, Cholo Trucker. Much love. You know that, man. Just all good.
Listen,
hey, House, between you, Sonny, and Cholo, man, those diapers are gonna go out of business.
Oh, you heard that yesterday when me and Sonny were on, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
no,
no, this man doesn't wear any Depends.
We're gonna wrap it up, guys, but I just want to thank each of you and Monica sharing that part of the testimony. Whew.
Yeah, no, we gotta have you on here.
Yes, absolutely. You are amazing. And
it was the best.
Strange Days, everyone in the chat, you guys were
here. We all bring our own flavor.
Yes.
What's up, Ruben? Doing?
Yeah, even my daughter tapped in back there. I was like, what?
I know, I saw her.
Yeah. But
everything went well today, man. Everything went good, Jen. You did a good job. Another one.
You guys
number 2.
Praise God. Yeah. Let's shoot for next week. I will tap in with you guys, whoever can join, and keep this good conversation going. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate you. God bless your week. Thank you, Dee Dee, for that super chat. I saw that, girl. Thank you. Yeah, shout out to Dee
Dee.
So with that said, we're going to say good night, stay blessed, and be here next Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
As my husband was saying, I'm out.
Bye.
Buenas noches, guys.
Buenas noches, man.
God bless you.